Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to this week. Holy banana bread, it's Sunday already. Oh boy, oh boy. It's actually, the weather's been nice this weekend. Everything's mostly dug out. We got about 25 centimeters or so of snow the other day. So it's looking better. It's looking better. Um, it's been, yeah, it's obviously not as good as the weather on the West Coast, but for January, we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it. Oh boy, a lot's going on in the world right now. Obviously, the top news on everybody's mind is, well, Greenland. Donald Trump wants Greenland, and well, he seems content. He seems very, very determined. In fact, he came out with some new tariffs. So anybody who does not support him taking over Greenland, they're getting hit. They're getting hit with a tariff. I believe it's 10% initially. Actually, 10% on February 1st. Then a little bit later, that's going to ramp up to 25%. At least he says. That's what he's saying right now. I can't see these being legal tariffs. There's no justification for these. This is all rhetoric. So I'm not super concerned. And I know I've already seen in the chat a few whispers of Liberation Day Part 2. I don't know. I don't know. I hope so. Only because I want some deals. I'm completely prepared to completely sell all of my cash position if we get a Liberation Day tomorrow. I'll do it. Well, actually, we wouldn't get it tomorrow because tomorrow's a holiday. It would be Tuesday. So tomorrow is the Martin Luther King Jr. Day. There we go. So Martin Luther Day tomorrow. So the market in the U.S. is closed. We're open here in Canada. Business as usual. In fact, we're going to be here with a market close tomorrow as well. So that's going to be fantastic for sure. The secret goat. I want to talk a little bit about the secret goat. So normally today I would give the first hint on our secret goat hunt, but you guys figured it out. So the last secret goat, the criteria to unlock it was 75 live likes on a stream. And basically, I picked 75 because up until just now, our record for live likes, so that doesn't include any of the likes that have to happen afterwards, because there's a lot of likes that come after the fact. But during the live stream, if we got to 75 likes, we're gonna, or 74 is the top number we got, but we got to 75. I think we actually got to about 80 on Friday's show. So that was fantastic. That unlocked the goat. So that means, guys, we got 2 more goats left to unlock. The next goat will not be as easy to unlock. I'm going to tell you guys that now. In fact, you will need hints to unlock the next goat. I can tell you this right now. Yeah, you're gonna need goats. Nobody's gonna be able to guess what the next one is. Because, everyone right now, there's been one simple criteria. So the first one was 5 gifted subs. Second one was hit that like record. The third one, there's technically 2 criteria. There's 2 criteria to unlock it that have to happen simultaneously. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to give you guys this week. Maybe I'll give the first hint on, let's say Wednesday. Wednesday, I'll drop, actually, you know what? This one's tough. Maybe I should drop the first hint right now for how to unlock goat number 3. So goat number 3 will replace our current goat number 3 because we're getting 4 new goats. We've already got a Monopoly goat, we got Moon goat, and we got the third one in waiting. So we'll see what that one's going to be. I will tell you this much. This is the first goat. This one will take a super effort for sure. So that's all I'm saying. There you go. You got the clue. I'll repeat the clue later for people who aren't here yet. Anyway, nonetheless, let's jump right into chat because I have a feeling you guys are going to be chatterheads today, and I love chatterheads. So, all right. Whoa, what's going on here? There we go. I have. All right, there we go. I removed one of my scenes by mistake, so I only have 3 scenes. I went over, I looked, and I'm like, wait, I'm missing a scene. All right. Uh, Jonathan is in the house first. Am I late for some fresh tariffs? You're never late. Tariffs for everyone. Well, I mean, the thing is, though, I mean, really, Donald Trump can throw as many tariffs as he wants, but it's the American people who actually pay them. So, what can I say? The American people are paying those tariffs. Who is next after Greenland? Well, luckily, I don't think Greenland's going to be just a simple, easy thing. I really don't think Europe's going to just roll over and the rest of NATO is going to roll over. NATO already right now, they're actually doing Arctic training at Greenland, you know. So there's a NATO military presence right now at Greenland. So, you know, I think there's going to be a lot more pushback. I think it's not going to be just bing, bang, boom. I don't think Trump is going to just be able to intimidate his way into picking up the deed to Greenland. But, well, he did manage to intimidate his way to pick up the Nobel Peace Prize. Although, he doesn't officially have the Nobel Peace Prize, he just got the medal because the winner, the vice president in Venezuela, presented it to him. So he's happy as a clam because he got his Nobel Peace Prize, even though the Nobel Institute there in Norway said, nope, it's not transferable. So technically, she still got the prize. He just got the medal. All right. King of Day says, hello, all happy Sunday, another Liberation Day crash brewing. Oh, we're going to find out. Tuesday could be interesting. And Scott here is our secret goat finder. He figured out the criteria for the last secret goat, like pretty much day 1. So we'll see if Scott figures it out this time. We'll see if let's put Scott to the test. Gursky says, happy Sunday fun day. And Bismarcky in the house with a happy Sunday all. Ian says, is this the new Liberation Day? Oh boy, yeah, maybe. We'll find out Tuesday. We will definitely find out Tuesday. I have a feeling our Financial Express will be running into Tuesday because I don't think you guys are going to give me that day off. I really don't. I think it's like, nope, no way are you not doing a market close on Tuesday. Get your butt in that chair, Candace. That's pretty much what I'm thinking. Sky is in the house with a happy Sunday, everybody. Lisa saying, hello, everyone. And Ciso is saying, hello, everyone, as well. And we got Larry. All right, let's see. Larry says, I talked about a while ago the USA being in a desperate state, running out of people to steal from, so would start taking from Europe, which, of course, they can do nothing to stop it. Yeah. It's a mess. I mean, the world politics right now are a mess. There's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. It's a mess. All right. Ian says, I threw a party here last night and somehow ended up ordering too much food. I have 3 extra large pizzas in the fridge right now. Was excited this morning, but now I don't have to eat pizza. Now I don't have to eat pizza anymore. Anytime you eat too much pizza and you say, I'm not going to have pizza anymore, you know it's a lie. You know you're lying to yourself. You're going to have pizza again. You'll do it again, Ian. You will. You and I both know this to be true. And we've got Mary in the house. Mary is our official captain of the like button. And, well, guys, if you haven't hit that like button, now's the time to do it. You guys showed on Friday that you can absolutely rock that button. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to have some coffee. Oh gosh, that's very good. I am enjoying the coffee. Larry says, I am very disappointed in the current Canadian leadership for speaking out. How is he so clueless that we are desperate and a failing empire that we now may act against Canada? That would be one heck of a mess. I will say this right now. Trump talks a big game, but I don't think he'll ever roll into Canada. Um, it would be, for one, Canada's a member of the Commonwealth. So, right there, if the U.S. attacks Canada, pretty much that's going to end up bringing in Britain, Australia, and a lot of the other Commonwealth countries will certainly come to Canada's aid. There's no political way he could spin that. That would just be a disaster. And quite frankly, I think even though, I think a lot of the Congress, even the Republican side, I think a lot of them would turn against him. I don't think he could ever do it. I think he can talk it. I think he can talk a big game. I think he can definitely dish out economic pain to Canada, but you roll the tanks in, it's not going to happen. The last time the U.S. well, they didn't have tanks back then, but the last time the U.S. tried to invade Canada, it didn't end well. In fact, it kind of ended with the White House getting burnt down. If my history's right, that of course being the big old War of 1812, it wouldn't end well. It wouldn't end well. I don't think it's going to happen. A politician says Canada is next after Greenland. Trump sees the weak weasel leading Canada. Oh boy. All right. But guys, I don't mind talking a little bit about politics today, but let's just be respectful. Let's not start calling people weasels. You know. So yeah, you can say a better way to have said that is that you could have said it this way. Canada is next after Greenland. Trump sees the uncertainty, the uncertainty in the Canadian leadership. You could say something like that. That's kind of cool. Anyway, I'm just saying, let's be respectful of all of the leaders. I won't even call Trump any names. I'm just going to say, his administration, it's a little off kilter to what we're used to for sure. Larry says UK, Germany, and France are now trying to talk to Russia again, even the EU leadership. Well, a lot of old enemies are starting to open up channels. Look at just some of the deals that have been struck the last week between Canada and China. So, I would say two big groups in Canada are very happy about it. Of course, the canola farmers and the fishermen. The fishermen, I know in Nova Scotia, they're loving that. Maybe not the people, but the fishermen are. Now, there are some people who are upset. A lot of our car manufacturers are upset. Doug Ford, he's absolutely not happy about it. Let's see. Larry says they're now calling Russians Europeans. Well, part of Russia is in Europe. So, it's kind of, I always figured that they were called Eurasians since they crossed the border. But, yeah. Sid Boy says, happy Sunday, everyone. Larry says a U.S. aircraft carrier will be in the Persian Gulf in less than 3 days to hit Iran too. Yes, I've heard about this. They're getting into position. Here's the thing, though, and this is kind of an interesting thing. It feels to me like Donald Trump is opening up kind of too many fronts. Obviously there really isn't any resistance down at Venezuela, and I think most of his troops probably have left. I don't know how many groups were down there, but Venezuela I think is done. But if you start attacking Greenland and then you also attack Iran, it can get complicated pretty fast. Let's see. Does this mean going inverse to 3x beta pro will be free money? It's a gamble though, Zenial. We had Liberation Day. Yeah, okay, that turned out to be a huge. If you had gone in 2-3x beta on Liberation Day, yeah, you would have made a killing. However, we've had a few events since then that we thought were going to be Liberation Days Part 2, and they've all kind of not happened. So the market hasn't been behaving exactly as it normally would. So, one of the big differences, too, is the ETFs. I'm going to say this. So, with the influx of ETFs that we've been seeing, both in Canada and the United States, ETFs are becoming super popular. Now what's happening with the market, and this is important, is that in the old days, with uncertainty, yes, there would be a certain amount of people that would move to gold, but there would also be a lot of people who would start moving to things like bonds. So a lot of that fixed income investment used to be one of the ways that they would go. Now, one of the big differences that we've been seeing now is because there are so many ETFs, and ETFs provide a lot of that extra diversification, and that's making things, they're making themselves much more attractive. So a lot of people, even while the markets are shaky, are like, I'll get into an index fund. It'll be fine on the other side. We're fine. That's where a lot of money has been going. And that has prevented the market from really faltering as much as it normally would with all of the political uncertainty that we're seeing. So that's really it's an interesting phenomenon that we're seeing in the market. Like, look at how bad. I mean, there was a lot of uncertainty since Trump came in, and the TSX almost hit 30% last year. And right now, and I gotta go little, and I gotta actually bring up the, I gotta bring up the window. Here we go. Just give me a second here. Share screen, entire screen. There we go. There it is in all of its glory. Well, I've got it here. I just didn't put it up there. There we go. So looking at the TSX right now. So here's what I find interesting. So far in January, and we're halfway through the month, we're already up year to date 3.85%. So even if we went flat the rest of this month, if we could pull out 3.85% every month, holy banana bread, that would be huge. We're not going to do it, though. I want to be 100% clear. We're not going to do it. But I'm just saying we're already on par right now to break that 30% mark, because we ended up finishing last year at, what was it, 27, almost 28% in that vicinity. Now, right now, if you look at our 1 year right now, our 1 year going from the middle of January last year to this middle of January is 33.09%. That's phenomenal. And, also, I mean, that's the TSX. If we look at the U.S. market, right now, the U.S. market, not so much. They're only at 0.90% for the month so far. And their 1 year from middle of January until now is at 16.37%. And that's a great number. That's still higher than the market average. So it's going to be very interesting to see where this rolls out. I can't wait. I can't wait to watch this year. I think 2026 is going to be one of those years where it's just going to be really interesting. So pretty cool. All right, now let's jump on back. Scott says, well, the first criteria has to do with a number of super stickers. The second criteria, I would guess, the amount of stickers going over a certain amount. Oh, interesting guess, Scott. Interesting guess. All right. Ian says, the pizza has corn on it down here. Well, you know what? I have had corn on pizza before. It's not bad. I'm a fan of corn, so. Rob says, everyone should have a deep dive in their spare change jar. Holy, I found some strange coins. Apparently, odd coins are the ones that are worth money. Maybe. Let's see. Will NUKK be a stock to jump into at the bell tomorrow morning? Well, keep in mind, let's actually take a look here. Something makes me think that might be a U.S. stock. So let's jump in. Let's go over and take a look. NUKK. Of course, I'm not going to say it out loud and sort of jinx the world. But here we go. So a nucleus. Okay. Let's see. Defense, aerospace, and advanced manufacturing sectors. Interesting. But it is a U.S. stock. So no, the answer is no. Because tomorrow morning, the U.S. market's closed. 19th of January, Martin Luther King Jr. Day. So it will be closed because the U.S. is going to attack Iran. Well, keep in mind, I don't know exactly when that aircraft carrier is going to arrive, but they're not going to attack before the aircraft carrier gets there for sure, nonetheless. Lisa, Trump told Canada not long ago to invest in our military, so it makes no sense that the USA would invade Canada. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you don't tell a country, beef up your military before you invade them. No, and I think Trump is smart enough to know that, um, you know, pretty much invading Canada would be about as successful as, trying to juggle hornet nests. It just wouldn't work. And now I've got that left a buzz in my head. Politician says Canada imports drugs plus terrorists to the USA. Trump could easily make a case for attacking. Yeah, you got to look at it this way, though. The amount of drugs that leave Canada and that go into the United States, it's minuscule compared to Mexico. He could argue that on Mexico a lot easier than on Canada. And you also got to keep in mind, a lot of this is rhetoric. There's, a certain level of propaganda that comes with all politicians. So you have to take it with a little bit of a grain of salt. Have there ever been terrorists that have crossed into the United States from Canada? Yeah, absolutely. Is it a giant problem? Like, is it happening every day type thing? Absolutely not. Bismarcky, when can we buy these Chinese electric vehicles? Well, the tariff itself is not coming off until, is it March 1st? I think March 1st. So it won't be, you won't be buying them anytime soon. Stephen is in the house. Well, a good afternoon, everyone. Joe says, rather be colonized by America than owned by China. Looking forward to the TSX bull again in 2026. Well, I don't. Yeah, I would not want to be colonized by China as well. And here's the interesting thing. Like, I really believe, maybe we'll have to wait for another administration, but I'd love to see an economic union of Canada and the United States, sort of like the European Union, but have a North American Union. So you still have your separate countries, but economically. So that way there are workers who are needed on either side of the border. They can move across freely. You would have one single currency. And that could be a really interesting thing. Now, mind you, it would take a lot because obviously there's a lot of things that are completely different between the two countries. But, let's... I would be open for that. I would be open for that on a long scale. But obviously, right now, I don't think this administration that would be something that they would be. But you never know. You never know. I mean, maybe Trump is playing a hard game so that he can throw what he really wants, and maybe maybe at that point, if you've been afraid that you're going to be attacked or something like that for the longest time, then he says, okay, let's just do this in a big economic union deal. Yeah, maybe. But I don't think that's what he's after. I wish he was. I wish that was what he was after, but we'll see. I mean, we're going to find out. We have 3 years to see how this is all going to unravel. Scott says we don't have to wreck the White House. Trump is tearing it down. Yes. And soon he'll have his ballroom, apparently. Rob, I see that I have a Canadian nickel where underneath the beaver there isn't a year stamp. I'm going to be rich. Honestly, I don't know. There is. No, there's a few coin collectors who actually follow the channel. I don't know if any of them are here right now, but if they are, they might be able to tell you for sure. King a Day, I'm not following the news too closely, so what is so special about Greenland? All right. Well, Trump says he wants it for defense, which obviously is not true because Greenland's already said he can put as many troops as he wants there. He can build as many bases as he wants. So that's not really what he wants. Now, Greenland does have critical minerals, so obviously, yeah, that's attractive to the United States. I think there's a bit of oil there too, also attractive. But he also just wants the real estate. I think one of the things that Trump is looking for is that when he finishes his term, I think he wants to have that, you know, that guy who expanded Russia, Russia who expanded America, made it bigger. And he is a real estate guy. Buying property is kind of one of those things. So I think he just wants to make America bigger, to be honest. But obviously we'll see how that'll all work out. And politicians saying has a lot of minerals needed for weapons, AI, also physically in a strategic place. Bill says short-term Greenland is a distraction. Long-term Greenland is about controlling the islands and territorial waters of the Western Hemisphere and the Arctic. Yes, and that's another point as well, the Northwest Passage. So it goes by Greenland, and if the U.S. owned Greenland, they would have more of an argument against Canada, because Canada calls it internal waters. So they should control the North. So we should control the Northwest Passage. But if you put Greenland, if it became part of America, America would have a better argument over the Northwest Passage. All right. Scott says Trump needs new islands to go to since his friend. Oh, Scott. Oh, boy. Rob says, did you get into SVR Kansas? I did not. But, I do want to get some exposure to silver. So I'm looking, and I'm kind of hoping we get a retracement of some amount. But I do want to get some more exposure. TSX goes up as food bank lines increase and crime increases. Well, I don't know. Well, the reality is, yeah, if the food line banks are increasing, if people are not able to feed their families, there will be more crime. But it's not the bad type of crime. It's more or less a lot of that extra crime is going to be people who are just, shoplifting for a loaf of bread. That type of crime will definitely go up. Sure, will there be some violent crime? Yeah, there's always going to be violent crime. Larry says USA troops have evacuated nearby bases. I think our money is down about 90% in 5 years. And if you count comparison to gold or silver, it's horrible as well. 5 trillion income, 7 expense, 40 trillion debt, 2 trillion in interest. Yikes. Sue says, I came across some interesting information on copper. It might be interesting to swing traders not holding for long term. Gold, Nvidia, copper needed for data centers. Mistake, long term should be okay. Yeah, both gold, copper, and silver. They're all going to be in high demand for a lot of technology for sure. Sky says Trump's speeches and actions might trigger more other countries to forge new partnerships, might boost other markets, ETFs in the process. Oh, let me go back to this. You might, yeah, I think like the explosion of ETFs that we saw here last year, I think that's going to continue this year. We've already, we're into January and there's already new ETFs. So Champions Line's coming out with new ones. We just had Inti drop. There's going to be more. There's definitely going to be more. Now, I would actually really like to see a few more based around materials. So, we got some good ones, but I'd like to see some, I'd like to see some more. I'd like to see what they got. AGD, so true about food banks and crime. I know. It's and the reality is too, for people using food banks, if you even go back to, you go back 10 years, if somebody was in that situation where they needed to use a food bank, they used to be able to go there and get quite a bit of food. Nowadays, they're stretched. The food banks are stretched. They're looking for donations. People are going to the food bank and they're not getting a lot. They're not getting a lot like they used to. And that's not good if it's a starving family for sure. So one of the things I will say, guys, here, everybody do this. Just do this week. You don't have to, don't tell me if you did it. Just because do a selfless act. When you go to the grocery store and you see that little donation box for the food bank, buy a piece of a canned good or a box of Kraft Dinner and just throw it in there. There we go. And that way there, as a community, we just made a difference. A small difference, but a difference nonetheless. Anise says, late again. Oh, gosh. Well, welcome to the stream, nonetheless. How is it over in Sweden right now? Ah, boy. AGD, what do you think about HHIS? Are you still investing in HHIS? Okay, I like HHIS. So that, of course, your Harvest High Income shares. So this one holds all of those single share Harvest High Income stocks. So yeah, I do like it. Tech has absolutely been struggling in the last little bit. And well, I mean, look, let's just take a gander here for a second. Um, all we have to do is look at the NASDAQ. And right now, when you look at the NASDAQ, there it is. You can sort of see, this is January. This blue line represents January. It's been a little volatile, and it's actually been in red territory for a little bit. I mean, right now, it is quite literally on their year-to-date 0.02%. So, yeah, and of course, when the NASDAQ struggles, HHIS, which is very, very tech-heavy, they suffer. They suffer. Now, as Harvest keeps adding more, and they're adding more. I think there's another 4 that they're just adding as well. I don't know if they're adding it to it right away, but there's 4 new high income shares. I'd like to see a few more outside of tech. I'd like to see a little bit more diversification into this. We'll see. We'll see how they do it. But nonetheless, I am still very bullish on tech. AI is absolutely going to explode even more in 2022 or 2022. Sorry, 2026. So yeah, I still like HHIS. All right. Luke says, hi all, happy Sunday. Portfolio is up nicely this year. And Scott's saying exactly what I was just said. Yeah, I think Harvest should look at rebalancing HHIS. Absolutely. I think that would be a good. Oh, you know what I haven't looked at, guys? No, I want to see if Bitcoin is doing its thing. Let's see here. Whoops, sorry. I'll bring up the share. No, it isn't. It's still going pretty flat here. Pretty flat. A lot of times on the weekend, Bitcoin would be making a lot of these big moves and then fall back down on Monday. But so far, yeah. Looks like it's pretty flat for Bitcoin. Oh, that is very flat. So yeah. Larry said Trump already said he's getting rid of USMCA versus Mexico-Canada trade deal and will only do a USCA deal. It's looking like Cleveland Cliffs will get a monopoly on steel. Yeah, we'll have to see what's going to happen. Yeah. I mean, I like Kuzma. I like it. I'd like to see it stay in place, but we'll have to see what that's going to look like. Obviously, that's coming up this summer, so I think July. So a lot can happen between now and July. Brian says, if you want a defense industry stock, Shield is on the TSX and up 51% in the last year. Ah, yes, Shield. Is that a Hamilton one? Let me just take a look here. Maybe Global X. I think Global X, CHLD. Whoops, let's try to spell it the correct way. SHLD. Yeah, there we are, Global X. Defense Fund. So yeah, look at this one, guys. And I'll pull up the year. This is a new one that came out last year, and it is all, well, the defense industry, and it's doing really, really well. 3115. It launched back in April at $20. Well, actually, it opened at, well, it doesn't tell me what it opened at, but around $20.51. So, yeah, that's fantastic. Now, this one here, you're like, here's your yield, 0.147. Entirely growth driven, but yeah, I think defense is going to be big. I think it's going to keep going. Trump is apparently the president of peace. I think he means the president of pieces, as in the world's going to be in pieces when he's done. But yeah, I think defense is a sector that if you want to park something in it, it's probably not a bad idea. Ohm says, will Canada be given a chance to vote on the U.S. amalgamation? Could it be Carney is softening Canada up for a union? Once again, I don't think so. I really don't think so. I think Canada is going to. I think our sovereignty is not in as much threat as a lot of people think. I think we're fine. Larry says Trump will be banning Mexico steel in the next 2 months. Yeah, oh boy. AGD, come on, guys, stop the Trump bashing and look at the big picture. There are lots of countries trying to grab oil in Greenland. All right. And Scott says, if anything, northern states would make more sense joining Canada. Well, actually, there used to be a movement, and I think this was back in the 90s, where Alberta, Saskatchewan, I think, I don't know if BC was included in it, but Montana, Idaho, and Oregon, there was a talk that they would make a nice little oil-rich country if they all sort of succeeded from Canada and the U.S. and formed their own country. I can't remember. They had a name for it too, and I don't remember what it was. But this was, I believe, back in the 90s. There was like, I don't think there was ever any serious talk or anything, but it was just one of those things that were out there. Carney actively working in the background to seriously weaken Canada. I don't know about that. Why will the TSX hit 30% in 2026? I'm not saying it's going to hit 30%. I'm saying that we're on par right now. Basically, and we've got 15 days of data. So the first 15% of the year, we're sitting well above 3% on that TSX. Now, it's cumulative. Obviously, if we keep going up, it's cumulative. So if we can maintain that, so let's just say we finish January with 3 to 4%. Well, if we could do that every month, we would absolutely hit the 30%. I don't think we're going to do it, though. I want to be clear, and I said I don't think we're going to do it. We're on par for it right now, but we're not going to do it. And let me just show you this other statistic here. We'll go back to the TSX. So right now, from January, basically January 15th last month to January 15th this month, we're sitting at 33. Actually, it would have been January 16th. Sorry. We're sitting at 33.09%. So right now, we're our 1 year is sitting above 30%. So, if we can maintain that, and like I said, I really don't think we're gonna. I think things are gonna come down a little bit, and we're gonna see some weakening. But I'm also willing to admit I could be dead wrong, because last year I would never have guessed that the TSX would be close to 30% on 2025. So, maybe I'm wrong about this year as well. But right now, and we're gonna keep looking at it for sure. Ian's having an inward moment as he talks about Bismarcky, Greenland should lease land to China for 3 years. Trump not going to take on China. Lease. I don't know. It's an interesting idea, but let's see. Let's focus on investing and keep the politics to the guys who around the world don't care about their people. Greenland has a lot of minerals that China and Russia want. Yeah. It's not just Greenland. There's a lot. If you look at the north, Canada, ton of minerals. That whole north is really, really, really chemical, mineral rich. A lot of oil, a lot of the critical minerals up there for sure. Let's see. Larry says, new Putin speech a few days ago. They demand NATO go back to German border, and it will be part of Ukraine deal. They're taking Odessa and all the way to the Dnieper River now. Oh boy. Yeah. The world's a mess, guys. And that's the thing. When we do, as AGD mentioned, talk about investing, you kind of have to, in this moment in history, you kind of have to realize that a lot of our investments right now are going to hinge, like some of them will hinge on what's going on in the world. So for example, when we were just looking at SHLD, obviously the reason SHIELD is going up is that there's a lot of pressure to strengthen your military. And the U.S. is planning to strengthen their military big time. So it all pulls together. So yeah, but one of the things I don't think we should do is we shouldn't resort to, bashing Carney, bashing Trump. We can bash the administration. Don't bash Trump personally, obviously, or Carney personally. You can disagree with the liberals, you can disagree with the Republicans, but still be, you can do it respectfully for sure. Scott says NATO already protects Greenland. Yeah, well, Greenland is technically a part of NATO. So, that's the thing. And I don't think we've ever run into a situation where there's a potential for one NATO country to attack another NATO country. As far as I know, maybe there was some kind of an isolated event somewhere, but I don't think so. Didn't Trump want Carney in office working as a team for the the New World Order? I don't know about that. Will we get par USD for CAD? Probably not. And that's the thing. Well, here's the thing. Kevin O'Leary, he was talking about about a potential economic deal at one point, and he said one thing that the U.S. could put in there is that, hey, the U.S. could say to Canada, if if we do it, maybe we'll throw in as a gift for you USD for CAD at par. That would be interesting. I know Kevin O'Leary was mentioning that, and I was like, okay, yeah, that would definitely be a cool thing. But like I said, right now, I really don't think anything is going to anything will move in that direction. Not with the current administration. Andrew, Trump is disappointed in Michael Moore's Super Size Me video. Trump wants to make America big again. I didn't hear about. But wait a minute. Michael Moore. I thought the Super Size Me was the other guy. So there was a guy that did one called Super Size where he went and basically only ate from McDonald's for what was it for? Oh, I can't even remember exactly who, but I think that was a different guy. Michael Moore, of course, made a ton of documentaries, but I think the Super Size Me one. And guys, maybe check, but I think that was a different guy. I think so. This is a Steve Lauder, Ronald Lauder. All right. Let's see. Lisa says, the other day I mentioned about Costco selling gold and silver. I was on their website today and noticed they keep adding more and more products. They have stuff from the Perth Mint now. Oh, neat. Welcome. Oh, I like that. Scott says, "Oh, we have a conspiracy theorist. Oh boy, conspiracy theories. Let's see. With that being said, let's see. Trump making America great again. Do you think he will do something about the low U.S. gold reserves and silver? That's always a good question, isn't it? I would, gosh, I sure would love to be back on the gold standard. It's not an easy thing though. It may not even be a possible thing, but still, oh gosh. Greenland, Trump and a Steve Lauder is involved. It's all about him lining the billionaires' pockets. Let's see. Larry says, I honestly think the smartest thing for Western countries, or maybe all, to do is be quiet until he leaves. I can't even think of a better idea to deal with our problems other than taking. Larry, you're probably right. It's like, leave him alone, let him do his thing, and don't annoy him in any way, shape, or form. That may be the best way to go, because he does react. He is a reactor, for sure. Let's see. I did mention gold in my message about copper. The word was Google. I think it's very important. Oh, okay, fair enough. Yeah, I mean, copper's huge. And I've already mentioned, like, out of the three, so copper, gold, and silver, right now I'm most bullish on copper. I think gold is still going to do well. I think silver is going to do fantastic. But we're looking at a copper shortage. And, pretty much there's two minerals right now that we're looking at shortages for. Copper, and the other, if you like chemical, guys, uranium. So those are going to be the two. And a neat little thing about uranium that some of you may or may not know, but at one point, uranium prices were pretty cheap. And the reason they were cheap is that there was a massive surplus of uranium. A lot of it actually revolved around some of the stuff with Fukushima. that caused basically a glut because all of a sudden, with a lot of the reactors in Japan going offline, that was a lot less uranium being needed. And people, the way uranium works is it's not like you just go to a store and you buy it. You normally have a contract for a certain amount. So if you get into a situation where you're not using it, you end up basically stockpiling uranium. And you can do it because it comes like in pellets. It's fairly easy to stockpile it, and then you get to a point where there is a lot more uranium on the spot market than anything else, and that's kind of where we got with uranium. But now those reserves, and this is why uranium is so much more expensive now. They've been depleting at a pretty fast rate, and in fact, right now it is said that we're actually using more uranium, like the world is using more uranium than is being produced. So what does that mean, guys? If you're using more than they're making, that's a recipe for prices to go up. That's a recipe for a shortage. So that is something to think about when we're talking about uranium, when we're also talking about copper. Copper in the same boat, other than uranium's a lot harder to find than copper for sure. Ian says peanut butter is good for donations. I think I was told that one time. Okay, yeah, peanut butter. Food banks are being massively abused. If you want to donate, then donate to the Veterans Food Bank because those are people who deserve to be helped. Okay, fair enough. Absolutely. Yeah, there's probably people who, there's probably people who go to food banks who don't need to go to food banks. So yeah, 100%. There's definitely abuse in there as well. But at the same time, I mean, if there's abuse, you also still, you don't want to sort of say, well, okay, we're not going to help the food bank because there is some people abusing it, and then that ends up hurting everybody. Well, not everybody, but everybody who uses it and people who legitimately need it. But at the same time, absolutely, I love the idea of helping veterans. Yeah, absolutely. 2020. I know. How far behind am I? Oh, I'm only about 15 minutes behind. I'm going to have some coffee. Who cares how far I fall behind? I'll catch up. King of Day says, my work volunteers at the food bank every Tuesday. It's getting pretty busy there. They need more volunteers and donations for sure. Every bit helps. Yeah. Actually, when I used to work at a corporate Staples call center, so at one point they were like, I was coming in and heading over to my desk because I basically, I watched over one team, and they're like, the food bank needs some help for a day. You want to go? I'm like, yeah, sure. So I ended up getting paid for it. So I've volunteer work, getting paid for it. But that was the thing. If I wasn't going to get paid for it that day, I still would have done it. I still would have done it because absolutely they need a lot of help. And one of the things I learned, really interesting, is I was going through some of the donations, and there were so many food that you had to actually get thrown out. Because it was just they weren't fit for human consumption. Like there were swollen cans and cans with big dents in them, and so there were just a lot of things that you'd be amazed because there's pretty high standards for sure. Rob says, Candace, would you have 50% HMAX or HDIV in your portfolio? Me? No, never. But I love diversification, Rob. So, I'm not saying that having 50% of an ETF that you have high conviction in is a bad thing. I'm just saying for me, it's not. I don't like to have, for me, my maximum on any one ETF is provided that ETF has diversification, my maximum is 20%. So I won't have any more than that. And usually I don't even get close to the 20% with even a single ETF. Now, there are ETFs. So you look at things like FEQT, XEQT, any of the EQTs. There are a lot of people who think that that's all they do. They just have that one ETF. Like if I had a long horizon and I was looking to invest for, let's say 30, 40 years, and I was just looking for a nice, easy fund I could drop my money into, and I don't want any muss or fuss, and I want great exposure, I don't care when the dividends come. FEQT is probably one, it would be in my short list of ones that I would choose. Obviously, I like XEQT as well, but FEQT at least has a small bit of exposure to Bitcoin. So that might help it win in that case. And then the fact as well that FEQT doesn't pay as often as XEQT, that wouldn't be a factor in that case. So definitely something. Scott says long weekend in the U.S. They're invading Disneyland. Oh boy. And what about iShares iBit? Yeah, I would not hold 50% of that one either. All right. Tim Carroll. Candace, what do you think of HYLD? All right. So I do like HYLD quite a bit. Now, one of the interesting things, and guys, let's just go to HYLD here for a moment. Oh, this is just the ETF heat map from the last day of the market. So I just find that a little interesting. We're just, these are all of those inverse ones. You can see, you can sort of see, this is a neat little thing. So when you look at this HND and HNU, so this is basically, these are the inverse of each other. So you can see in this case here, HNU, the U means up. So this is obviously the just natural gas one. And this is the inverse. And you can sort of see they're almost close, plus 2.3 to minus 2.1. But anyway, I was getting distracted. HYLD. Let's come into HYLD. Our good old Hamilton friend here. All right. I'm pulling up. I can do 5-year. I'm going to pull up the 5-year on HYLD. So that's kind of important for me. So HYLD, looking at their history, this beginning part in HYLD, this whole big drop down, one, they launched, we were still in the bear market when they launched. So the bear market itself, it didn't technically end till about October. So yeah, right in about here. This is where the bear market ended, and they've been fine since then. However, part of the problem with this massive drop that they had is that they didn't have a lot of control over what they were holding. So when they initially dropped, they were holding ETFs just like they do now, but they were all US companies. So they had no control over how bad they were going to drop, and it showed. I was not a fan of HYLD when they were holding the US ETFs because I really didn't feel like they were they were getting it done. They were kind of reacting to the bear market and pretty badly. So I was not really a fan. I was not a fan, but they began changing things around, and you can see as they began moving up. So what they did, first of all, is they got rid of all of those US ETFs, and Hamilton basically created their own versions so that they had full control over the different ETFs that they were able to add. And that has made a difference. So they have been doing fantastic and moving up, moving up. Here's Liberation Day 1. Who knows? Are we going to get a 2? Maybe. So they were moving up pretty quickly. And recently they now, I call this area in here version 2. Now they've got technically a version 3. They got rid of a few of their fixed income ETFs that they had and brought in some of the Daymax just to pump it up with a bit more income. So yeah, I do like this one. I think it's a really well put together ETF. Definitely one of my favorites. Like I like HYLD. I also like HDIV. I think they're both fantastic. All right. Let's see. So true. And Trump did want Carney in. Yeah, but well, here's the thing. Whoops. We'll get to Larry here in a second. I think he just does. I don't even think it's that he likes him more than Poilievre. I think Trump just found Poilievre a little bit annoying, and and you got to keep in mind Carney being that businessman. That's kind of the type of people that Trump surrounds himself with anyway. So Carney was kind of more of the type of person that if we remove all the politics, Carney's the type of person that Trump would probably gravitate to, opposed to Poilievre. And I think that's part of why he moved that way. All right. So Larry says Only other NATO attack on another beside election interference was Turkey coup during the Obama administration. Oh, right. All right. Yeah, there we go. All right. So there was that for sure. Rob says, isn't Michael Moore a former U.S. boxer? Honestly, I don't know. I just know he makes films. He doesn't look like a boxer, but you know, sometimes people get out of shape and all of that. But what can I say? Morgan Spurlock, supervised guy. He's dead. Okay, Kelly. I'm not sure. Oh, that's it. The supersized guy. There we go. Thank you, Kelly. Did he really die? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I don't mean to laugh. I'm not laughing at his death, but I'm like, oh my gosh. Wow. So yeah, that was the guy, not Michael Moore in that situation. Let's see. Morgan Spurlock did supersize me, but it didn't take away from the joke. Supersized. Okay, yeah. Yeah, at first I was like, supervised guy. What are we talking about? Then I remember I pieced it together before I saw your correction though. Yeah, Morgan Spurlock. There we go. Let's see. Mine did the same, Kelly, but I noticed it luckily. Sue, Google NVIDIA reporting on the amount of copper needed for data centers and the mistake that was made. Okay, fair enough. It might affect the market short term. All right, let's see here. No one talks about tungsten. I understand only Russia produces it. I'm pretty sure we have some here. I'm pretty sure we do as well. I think we have it. I think we have some tungsten. Wahipple says, hey. Hey back, Wahipple. Mark says, hey Candace, where do you find the tax breakdown info for HHIS 2025? Can't find it. I don't think it's available yet, but let me take you where you would go, first of all. I got a new little thing so I can start bookmarking these, so we will be bookmarking this one here in a second. All right, harvest, I want HHIS. There we go. No, I guess this is this their HHIS page? I guess it is. I guess it is. There we go. All right. All right. Oh boy. All right, I'm going to take that. I'm just going to drop that in there. All right, now let's take a look and see if we can find it. Portfolio breakdown. It's not going to be there. Active cover call strategy, view list. Now, normally where you find it, Mark, is normally it's going to be within with their documents. So if they have any kind of, but I really don't like how this is set up right now. But I doubt it's available yet, to be honest. Why invest? Portfolio breakdown. Okay, I don't want the portfolio breakdown. I want your documents. Where's your documents? Why? Let's see. Recent new year and 6 new high income shares. Oh, there's 6. Okay. I knew there was quite a few, but where can I go to invest? Buy online. Oh, view list. And there's their disclaimer. Interesting. All right, let's try. I'm just going to go to harvest here and see if I got anything in here that I might be able to find. FAQ. Let's go to the FAQ. I'm already there, guys. That's interesting. I don't see it. I will find it though once it's available. I'll definitely let you know, Mark. But right now, I don't think like basically around the time that all of the tax slips start coming out. So usually February to March, usually February. Usually by the end of February, I think we'll probably have it. But right now we do not yet have it. Oh gosh, I wish we did. I wanted to find. I would love to see it. Rob said, Candace, whatever happened to NFTs? People came to their sense. That's probably a bad answer, but honestly, NFTs. I always was perplexed by NFTs. Bored apes. I mean, come on. Why am I going to pay a crazy amount for some digital art? And quite literally now, you could go to ChatGPT and it can make you a Bored Ape in seconds. Here, you know what? Let's do that. Let's do that. Why not? All right, give me a second here. I'm just going to go to a regular screen here, and I'm going to just ask it. All right, can you create an image of a Bored Ape? What do we want this Bored Ape doing? Petting a goat. Why not? All right, and I'll just bring this over here. ChatGPT is making the image right now. So this is our new NFT, guys. Does anybody want to pay me $1 million for it? I'm just asking. I'm asking, you know. If you do, let me know. I'll set up the transfer, but here we go. Or you could all just screenshot this Bored Ape if you really want it on your digital art wall. Oh, look at this. Oh my God, that's actually pretty darn cute. Can I make this bigger? Here we go. There we go, guys. There's our Bored Ape. Oh God, this is so great. I love this. I might actually have to save this just because it's kind of good. Oh, not enough that I would pay $1 million for it, but this is amusing me. I get amused easily, guys. I get amused very, very easily. Oh boy. Scott says, looking at Northcliffe Resource, NCF, tungsten and molybdenum. Molybdenum. I can't say that word. I know what it is, but molybdenum. There we go. Molybdenum. In New Brunswick, penny stock now. They just need to get the native folks' approval. Okay. Mark says, I'm thinking I should start trimming HHIS. 9% of my portfolio. Price is stable. Same as what I bought it 10 months ago. Still good dividends, but may not survive a bear market. I think they'll do a lot better going into a bear market than they did last time, now that they control their own thing. But yeah, at the same time, Mark, I mean, it never hurts to be, as we move towards a bear market, it never hurts to get a bit more defensive. Now, I will tell you, I don't think we're going to see a bear market this year. I'm thinking 2027 at this point. But yeah, we'll find out. We'll find out eventually. Bill says Michael Moore and Michael Moorer are not the same person. So is Michael Moorer, is that the boxer? Is that kind of where that confusion is coming up? David says, do you have any physical precious metals in your portfolio, and what percentage do you recommend to allocate in? I don't. I don't have any physical. I don't want the hassle of holding it, to be honest. So no, I don't have any. Although I do want to buy that one copper bar that we saw, that we were looking at on Amazon, because I think it looks pretty cool. All right, goodbye, Bored Ape. You are so cute. That is very, very cute. All right, I'll get ChatGPT out of there. I do want one, and I only want it basically, it's not even as an investment, it's just to have in my background, and I'll show you guys. Amazon. Here we go. Yeah, I want to stay on the US one. And copper bar, here we go. There we go. Not that one. One that looks like that, but I think we got one that has a better. There should be one here with a better picture. Oh, maybe not. Maybe not. But in a nutshell, it'll look like this. There's a cheaper one. There's one like about 30 bucks. That'll probably, one of these days I'll order it. It's just that it's got the atomic. This one here is a whole kilogram. I don't need a kilogram. But it's got the whole CU, so it's got the atomic weight on it, you know. So yeah, that's what I want. That's the only one I want. But once again, once I buy that, it's just going to be in the background. It's going to be in the background here. That's all I want it for, to be honest. That's all I want it for. I prefer to invest in miners. I prefer to invest. I'd rather invest in like a Sprott, one of the Sprott ETFs. You know, I would, yeah, definitely. So yeah, I don't want to hold any of my metals here. All right, let's just, oh, we'll get out of Amazon. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, so more is the heavyweight boxer. All right. Elaine's in the house with a hey all. Happy Sunday. Rob says, is precious metals going to have a good year, or is Trump going to mess it all up by resetting gold prices? Precious metals is going to have a good year. Nobody's resetting any of the prices on gold or anything really. So take all of that with a grain of salt, quite literally. Let's see. QQQ, is the time frame for earnings reports to be released after the quarter finished? No. Actually, a lot of the U.S. tech earnings are starting to come up. I think next week. I think we have Intel coming up and a couple of others in the coming week. So yeah, for sure. Let's see. I'll give 500 for a minute. There we go. Let's see. Rob says that is priceless. Candace, Bored Ape, and Beastie Goat. I know. Kelly says, I am hoping Wealthsimple sends me tax information slips. I'm used to the bank doing all of that. Okay, well, there's two things. One, you can just go on Wealthsimple once they're ready, and you can download any of your slips immediately off of Wealthsimple. I also think, and correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I'm pretty sure that when you actually go to the CRA website, and you go into pull up your T4s and things in there, I think it does show up there. I don't know what the time frame is. It's probably faster to get it directly from Wealthsimple. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know if they'll mail it out to you. I don't know if there's an option for them to do that, but you can download it off of their website. All right. And, oh, I got to jump ahead here for a bit. We've got a super. We got a super in here. Kelly is offering $2 for the monkey NFT. Nice. Kelly is now the official owner of the monkey NFT, folks. So yeah, it's now Kelly's. You know, unless one of you bid her. But quite literally, guys, just take a screenshot. Take a screenshot and you can all have it for free, to be honest. But nonetheless, that does make Kelly our first goat on the, and we're actually calling it the Goat Squad. So Kelly is now a member of the Goat Squad. She's leading the Goat Squad today. I love it. I love it. All right. Now, going from Kelly to Scott. There we go. I'm not sure why you couldn't see it, but at the bottom of the HHIS page are links to documents. Really? I could not see it. All right. Well, I'm still there. Let me just pull this down. I'm going to click continue on that. Products, contact us. Yeah, the site has CAPTCHA. Social media, privacy. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I don't know why. Maybe I have to click on the disclaimer part to get to it. Nope, it's not. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I have to look at them in a different browser. Maybe I have to like look at them in Chrome or something. So yeah, that's odd. That is odd. Yeah, that is very, very, very odd that I am not seeing it anywhere. I'll look for it off of the show. Once again, Mark, I will look for it. We'll get it all sorted out for you. Don't worry. Hipple, I sold my HHIS a few weeks back and got CPCC with the money. Nice. Well, CPCC, I love that, of course, guys. And let's just head on over here. Wow, I got way too many windows open now. Let's see here. I'm just going to close a few of these extra windows. There we go. All right, there we go. And we'll leave the harvest. Yeah, no, we won't. We'll close the harvest. All right, now let's head over here. And what was I looking for? Oh, CPCC. There we go. So this is our Global X Copper Producer Equity Covered Call ETF. This one I'm pretty excited about because, as you guys know, I'm pretty bullish on copper. This one has not been out very long. In fact, it launched here in December, beginning of December. And it launched right around $20. Actually, it opened, by the time it opened, it was at $20.16. Now it's at $23.85. This is a fantastic fund. You are getting growth, and you are also getting a half decent income. Now it says 7.04%. I don't know if that's the number or not, because it is new, and sometimes TMX is not the best with a yield on a new one. I'd have to actually do the math, but for some reason I think I questioned the math on this one, and it might have been right, but I'm not sure. Nonetheless, you are getting a half decent dividend here, 14 cents a month. So 14 cents. Oh gosh, you know what, guys? I've got my calculator. I've got my Canadian Securities Institute calculator. So let's do it. All right, 14 cents. All right, and it's monthly, so times that by 12. That gives us $1.68, and we'll divide it by the current price, $23.85. There we go. Oh yeah, that works out to 7%. So it's right. So it's actually a little bit lower, but keep in mind it's going to get lower, guys, because this is one that will keep on going up. So that is always fun. You can get Costco to hold it for you. Let's see. Lisa says, I have a question. Sorry if it sounds stupid, but when we talk about our portfolios, does it include cash sitting in HISA or GICs? It's up to you, really, but I mean, technically that is a part of your overall investment portfolio, so it does count for sure. I usually just will put, like, if I have GICs or I got things in like a HISA or any other cash ETF, I will just simply call that my cash position. So, like, for example, right now, and let's see here, when we look at the 0 to 100K challenge right now, I've got T-Cash at the moment. So that is sitting at a 7.68% stake of this challenge. So technically in the challenge, the cash position is 7.68%. Now, mind you, I have cashed, was that this month? Yeah, this month I cashed 4 in. If we get a big drop down coming, so if we get Liberation Day 2, that's going to go, that cash position might go to 0. It might go to 0 because I'll just deploy everything into the best deal I can find. All right. And we got Samantha Draven in the house with a hello all. And of course, Samantha, guys, she unlocked goat number 1. So she put it together and unlocked the first goat. And as you guys know, the second goat got locked on Friday. So yeah, if we do another super or something today, we'll see that second goat. I like the second goat a lot. Rumor has it. So Steve says, I sold my HHIS last week. Return was negligible with dividends. Bought some SVR with the money. Getting in on the silver. Getting in on the silver. Luke says, Candace, I played Telus for a swing trade. I felt tax loss selling overdone. Bought below 18, hoping to sell for 20. Do you think investors are starting to buy back in after 30 days? We've had a pretty strong January, so obviously some of that strength would be tax loss harvesters redeploying. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. That's where some of it is. Normally that happens in the Santa Claus rally, but this year, the Santa Claus rally just didn't really. Well, technically, the Santa Claus rally includes the first 2 trading days of the month, and we did have a huge big green day on that second day. So we kind of did get a Santa Claus rally, but I think a lot of people are just going to say, no, we didn't. No, we didn't. But we'll wait. We'll wait till we get the official word on it. But I would say, yeah, we kind of got a sort of a very late Santa. Like, you know, it's like he threw the rally just as he was heading to bed to sleep for, you know, the next 6 months. But what can I say? Brian, is the link to 2025 interim financial statement? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you're asking, but is that in regards to HHIS? Let's see. Good afternoon, everyone. I was running late today. Well, welcome. Welcome to the show, Brian. Other Brian. We got 2 Brians. It's like Brian squared. Samantha says, I'm trying to reduce a lot of overlap in my TFSA. Would VDY, VFV, and HHIC be a good base going forward? Well, this really, once again, it boils down. So looking at two of those are definitely really solid dividend growth. And of course, HHIC is going to be income. HHIC, I would call that an income ETF. So you are getting a nice mixture. Now, if you're going for the hybrid, and keep in mind, guys, sometimes with a hybrid investing, so if you're a growth income investor, you don't have to have dividends. Dividends. Yeah, you have to have dividends. You can't have, otherwise the income part kind of falls away. You don't have to have like all ETFs that have growth and income. You can also do that having some very solid growth dividend ETFs and then having some solid income. So that way there, when you look at the overall picture, then you've got your growth, you got your income, and there's not a fixed amount. Like to be a growth income investor, it's not like you have to have 50% growth, 50% income. Nah, you can scale it to whatever works for your individual risk levels, your individual, well, what you want your portfolio to do. There's no real right or wrong. That's kind of one of the things. The only real wrong in investing is if you're investing in a lot of things that are just losing money. That's typically not the strategy you want. Or if you're emotionally investing, that would be another one. But yeah, that sounds like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. Let's see here. Now, I will say one thing though, Samantha. I think in my case, I would probably see. I like HHIC, but there's a few others I think that could be really good in that spot as well. That would provide you with some really good Canadian income. But keep in mind, so I think one of the ones I was thinking of HDIV actually. So HDIV was going to give you the growth and it is going to give you the income. However, if you're kind of leaning more towards having that, having some of that growth income in there, you might want the more aggressive HHIC because you're going to get higher income on it. And then, you're getting your growth from your VDY and your VFV. So that might be how you're balancing that out. It certainly works. All right, Lisa says, I have more cash sitting around than I should, but I'm also waiting for a crash to back up the truck. All right. Samantha, are we getting Goat Squad t-shirts? Yes. Short answer, yes. I'm going to try to get that done this week. I'm going to try to get that done this week and up on the merch store. But yeah, I want Goat Squad t-shirts too. Shirts, not the word that you said, but shirts. See, there's a time when autocorrect should come in and fix something, and then it just never does. But I at first I just saw the shirts. I didn't see the word. Anyway, Mary is taking me out of an awkward conversation. Let's hit the button. Hit that like button. Yeah, guys, hit the like button. What do we have? I'm kind of curious. Let's see here. So we're sitting at 59. No, that's not too bad. I mean, I would still like to see more. I mean, with 86 people in here, we should bare minimum, I think we should have 60. I think bare minimum 60. I'll have some coffee while you guys make that happen. Oh, so good. Let's see here. All right. That's a hilarious typo, Samantha, says Scott. It is funny. Paul says, good afternoon. We just got back from Costco and Save on Foods. Used to be over weighty when you lived in BC. Ah, yes, over weighty. I remember that. I remember seeing that. I think they had them in Calgary too when I first moved to Calgary. $298.43 at Costco. Okay. Yeah, Samantha just realized the typo. Venture by Nature. I got rid of HHIS and I invested in QQC and VFV. I am planning on adding VDY and XEQT and just build this portfolio for 25 years. Do you think this would be a solid idea? All right. Venture, first right away off the top, you got a good runway. You got a good amount of time. So yeah, I would be more focused. I would definitely be more focused in growth in dividend growth at this point. So VFV, fantastic. I mean, S&P 500, that's your solid company, biggest economy in the world. QQC, going to give you some of that good extra bit of tech exposure, which is good. VDY, your Canadian, XEQT, your international. So yeah, there is some overlap. Like XEQT, for example, will have a little bit of overlap with VDY and QQC as well as VFE. But for the most part, I think it's fine. I think it's fine. I think you're good. All right. Paul says, speaking of Costco, why has Cost performed so poorly since the former CEO retired? Oh, that's a good question. That's a good question. Like Costco was one of those ones that you don't think is going to perform badly. They're in a good, I mean, they're consumer staples. So, they've got a steady supply of customers. So was it uncertainty with the last CEO stepping down? That I don't know. I would have to look into that, Paul. But before we go any further, we got some action going on. So, first off, we got Mark. Mark has re-signed up for the, or maybe this is his first time. I'm not sure. But Mark is now a channel member, guys, and that unlocked my favorite goat right now, our space goat. So the moon goat is now active. Thank you, Mark. And Mark is not one to just join. He's like, I need someone to walk through the door with me. So we got ourselves a gifted Mountain Finance and Marina. Ooh, that's so good. I love that. So last weekend, oh wait, before I get any further, I don't want to get distracted. This is the goat, by the way, that will be retiring. So as Mark has joined the goat squad, oh boy, you know what? Should we just call... I like the GOAT Squad a lot. But Mark has joined the GOAT Squad today and twice. That's GOAT number 3. That one will retire when the next secret GOAT's unlocked. So I can't wait. It's pretty cool. Awesome. Oh, now Marina. Last weekend, so last Sunday, Marina was a lurker who popped her head up and said hi. And then Marina's been pretty active since then, so she's technically no longer a lurker, and now she's a channel member. So wow, that's pretty good. I like that. All right. Okay, now I think our next commenter is Garden. All right, so on the HHIS page at the top inside the circle logo picture, there is a link for Learn More. Takes you to a new page, lots of light blue text. Docs are at the bottom, no real tax info yet. Okay, I'll get that all sorted out. But yeah, like I said, we're probably not going to get any tax information until towards the end of February. But yeah, once it comes out, I'll bring it up on the screen because I think it's always good to look at the tax implications of some of our ETFs for sure. And Paul was like number 59. Did we get 60? Oh no, actually, yeah, I think I said, let's get to 60. Paul's 59. I'm just refreshing the text box. I have a feeling, yeah, oh, look at that. Guys, you guys rock. We're at 71. Holy banana bread. You guys just absolutely blew the like button up. I haven't seen anything blow up this much since, since Venezuela. Oh, and that's a bad joke. I should never have said that, but I did. Scott says, congrats, Marina and Space Goat. Exactly. And, oh, now you know what? When I said Space Goat, in my head, I heard Space Ghost. I don't know if any of you guys remember. There was, back in the 70s, there was a kid's cartoon called Space Ghost. So a guy wore in it was white spandex and a cape and a mask and used to fly through space. That's all I remember. I was a kid, a pretty young kid back then. So, but yeah, Space Ghost. Actually, why should I describe Space Ghost? We're in a world where I can just do this. I'll just go to Google. Any of you who've never seen Space Ghost, I think it's all one word. Anyway, yeah, here's Space Ghost here. There we go. That's Space Ghost. So like I said, white spandex, mask, all of that fun stuff. So Space Ghost. Yeah. All right. King of Day. Funny saying about Costco. Why do you go to Costco? Because everybody knows Costco keeps the cost low. Well, Costco is that funny place. Like, you know, you go to Costco and you're thinking, oh, I want a small jar of peanuts. You come back and you've got so much peanuts that you're eating peanuts for days and you're feeding them to the squirrels. It's just a lot. It's a lot. Goats in space. Awesome. Now that reminds me of the Muppet Show because they had pigs in space. I'm not going to bring a picture of that up, guys. Paul says, you get used to certain Costco products. The yellow box of drawstring garbage bags, 51NC. Nice. Keto loved Space Ghost. There we go. Muzamel says, HDiv have a good amount of gold mining company exposure, and this will help it to stay top of the game this year, even if the TSX doesn't do as well as 2025, in my opinion. Agree. I agree. And that's one of the things, like the Canadian market, and this is a beautiful thing, and this is what's helped Canada in 2025 is the explosion in the price of materials. So we're talking silver, gold, copper, and here, oh my God, I just realized something. You guys got the black hole of Candace. It's not good. Here we go. Oh boy. But if you look at something like this, XMA, this is your iShares, your cap materials index. And let's just look at the last year. You can sort of see. So this pump in materials, that's a big portion of the Canadian TSX. So that has absolutely helped for sure, and it will continue to help. It will continue to help in 2026. Oh, Kelly. I was about to say, Kelly, you missed the board goat, and then I was like, no, wait a minute. Kelly bought the goat. So, all right. Paul says 51% chocolate chip baguettes, etc. What are your thoughts about Shakepay and MDA? Do you think these would be some solid long-term holds? All right. First of all, Shopify. Yeah, as long as people continue buying online, I think Shopify will be solid. I think that they'll do well. Like, you know, they're going to have their ups and downs. They are technology based. That's going to happen. POW. So POW is Power Corporation of Canada. They're actually the majority shareholder of Wealthsimple. So I do like POW. I think POW is fine. I think POW is a nice long-term burn. MDA. Now MDA is a little more speculative, but maybe not. So MDA Space. They, of course, they had that big fallback because why? Well, because they lost a big contract in the U.S. to SpaceX. But they've now recently gotten another. They've recently got another contract in the U.S. And that certainly, well, here, let me show you. We can see this whole story playing out on their chart. Here's MDA Space. Let's pull it up. And you want to hear something funny, guys? I said I put out a video, 5 stocks to watch, and I have MDA Space on it. And somebody actually in the comments said, "Oh, you're full of it. You don't know what you're talking about. MDA Space isn't going up anymore. They're going down." Look at this. On Friday, they went up 14.51%. I guess if that's the new going down, then obviously that person is right. Yeah, another one of these. But here, let's pull up the last year. And this is what's been going on. So right here, they've been doing fine. This is where they lost that contract. So yeah, there was a little bit, you know what? It caused all of this chaos, but they did get another contract. And now look at this. They're sitting up here nicely, 38.29. I think that as we get more and more into defense, especially some of the Arctic defense that our current government has said that they're going to put as a priority, that's going to work really well for companies like MDA. So I see MDA as being a company that's going to do really well. Now, I got excited here for a moment about this 14%, but it looks to me like that's mostly just a recovery, because this here was the main drop, and they got a big up, and then they got another big up and another big up. So I think, yeah, this here, somewhere's in here is where they got the new contract. So I'm looking forward to seeing where they go over the next year. Believe it or not, guys, I'm usually pretty good at the ones I call for the year. So I just want to put that out there. Maybe this will be the year that my picks will go to will go to the doghouse. But so far I'm still fine. All right, Scott says we got an Inception thing going. Yes, I know. We were just tunneling into the market. There we go. Tunneling into the market with Candace. New show title. Jordan is in the house. Hello, Jordan. How are you? Always good to see Jordan. Jordan, of course, one of my favorite people who collects physical gold. I don't know. Well, actually, you might have some gold, but physical silver for sure. A lot of physical silver. Paul says, I wanted Kirkland frozen blueberries, and wife came and it turned into a big shopping trip. Oh boy. Yep. You can't, like I said, you can't go into Costco and come out with anything small. You pretty much know you're going to get something supersized. It's just going to happen. Larry says, I like Costco because if you go to Walmart, the socks are locked up and the police are at the doors to lower theft. Fair enough. I remember Superstore. Superstore, they used to, if you went in with a backpack, they would actually inspect your backpack on the way in. And I was always like, why are you inspecting it on the way in? If you want to inspect it on the way out. Am I coming into the store to reverse shoplift or something? It's like, I got a bunch of product in here. I just want to put it on your shelves and give it away to the store. No, it doesn't happen that way. But yeah, it used to be funny. Nowadays, it's normal to be bringing a backpack into the store with you because, that could be your bag. All right. Yes, I know the tunnel. Oh, boy. Also, look at RGPM. All right. Let's do this. RGPM. There we go. So this here is RBC Global Precious Metal Funds. All right. I like the name. As soon as I saw precious metals, you had me, Hamelio, I think. Hamelio. There we go. Actually, my grandfather's name was Leo, so kind of neat. All right, let's take a look. We'll go to the year, and bang, look at this. $29 to $71. And this is precious metals, right? So this is obviously not including copper. And I'm still bullish on copper, but yeah, this is fantastic. I like it. Paul says, and sockeye salmon on sale. So get 2 RAOs pasta sauce on sale. So get 2. Nice. Scott says, I missed the MDA rocket ship. Oh, there'll be more. Don't worry. Michael says, I started buying UUU on Friday. Let's, I have a feeling that we're going to be looking at you at, actually, no. I saw UUU and I'm thinking, could this be a uranium company I've never heard of? But no, it's a Universal Safety Products. Okay. All right. Well, sometimes we need a little safety in our lives, right? I don't know if this is what they mean by, it's nice to have safety in your portfolio, but, here we go. $4.95. So yeah, well, they've done pretty well in the last year. I mean, a little bit of choppiness here, but overall, I mean, they've pretty much doubled in price in the last year. But I'm kind of curious here. Well, I like to go into the back end on some of these for you, Michael. This is pretty good. Look at this. I love ROEs over 20%. We got 26.86%. Not too shabby. Also, their debt's only 48%. So yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. All right. Luke says, I'm looking for an equal weight TSX index ETF. Any recommendations? Um, that's an interesting call, and I'll tell you why it's an interesting call, because I wouldn't want an equal weight TSX index. Unless it was catered, like if it was something like equal weight, maybe an equal weight TS60 or something like that. Only because I do, like for example, last year, if you had an equal weight, you wouldn't have been able to take advantage of what was going on with gold and silver as much in that, or at least that fund wouldn't have been able to. So I don't know if I like an equal weight for the TSX. Now I'm just trying to think if there is an equal weight, because that's what you asked for. I don't think you wanted my opinion. I'm just saying I would be less inclined to go that way. But let me just see here. I'm gonna just try. We'll see here. Equal weight. So let's see. iShares equal weight bank and life co. Yeah, equal weight banks. Equal weight oil and gas. And I think it's just that the TSX might be too broad. I wonder. Let's just try equal weight TSX. Oh, here we go. This might be one for you right here. So EQLT here. This here is the Invesco S&P TSX 60. Remember how I just said earlier, I wouldn't want the whole index, maybe 60. This is going to be this will be your top 60 companies in there, equal weighted. Let's see how they did. Let's see how it looks. Well, that's not too shabby. That's not too shabby. Look at this. So they launched back in April 1966. Now they're at 2510. So this might be one worth looking at. So EQLT. So write that one down. Do your due diligence. Maybe that's what you're looking for. All right. Let's see. Bill L says, is there any downside to internal leverage compared to self one? So HDIV, HYLD, then go down and up to conserve 25%. They should sell internally. One of the things, I guess, with leverage, I'm okay with a little amount of leverage. Like I'm okay with 25% leverage. I'm okay. 33%, I think, is my max. I don't want to go above that. So, with funds like this, so for example, you look at HDIV or HYLD. So those funds themselves, like HYLD does not do covered calls, but they do the leverage. Now, some people are probably saying, wait a minute, Candace, they do covered calls. Well, no, the ETFs they hold do covered calls. They're just doing leverage on the whole thing. So, it's an interesting thing. There is a downside, is when things are moving down, obviously you're going to move down if you've got 25% leverage in there, you're going to move down 25% more than anybody else. So it works out in both directions. But what I always like to say is that sometimes you can lose a little bit more upside when you have leverage. And when I say lose, it's just that I don't even know if I want to go there. I don't think you know what? I'm not going to go there. I was going to say that, technically it's still the same. But it's just that 25%. It can hurt. It can certainly hurt. And I think one of the dangers of it is that if you are an emotional investor, when you do go down extra sized, it can be a little more of a inclination for you to say, oh my God, I got to get out before this goes to zero. And then you end up losing and you end up realizing losses. So if you're not an emotional investor, and you are fully aware, and you're okay with, okay, yeah, if it goes down, it's going to go down a little bit. I mean, you could play the game where you sort of say, I'm just going to use the leverage one during upswings in the market. So during bull markets, I'll use the leverage one. We go into, if we start to fall into a bear market, switch it out, switch that out for something non-leveraged. One great example of that is like QQCC and QQCL. So because those are kind of the same thing. So if I was holding QQCL and I really thought we were going to be dropping for the next month, maybe, or the next 6 months because we're heading into a bear market, I might move that over to QQCC. that way there, I'm not going down as much. But once I felt like we're finally down, and to me, I don't have to hit the bottom exactly, but once, if we move down 20%, I would then probably switch back to QQCL because I want to ride that extra leverage on the way up. And, I think that would be a pretty good effective strategy. But at the same time, a lot of times you start falling into a bear market, and a lot of times you don't even realize it. So, there is a little bit of trying to figure out what's happening as it's happening type thing that goes on there. But downside, it's just, it's more, I think, more psychological. And, because you are going to get that 25% that you're extra 25% you're losing on the way down, you get it on the way back up. But, and you still have, of course, your normal upside losses, as I was sort of alluding to there as well. Right, Brian says, funny thing about Shopify, I don't know a single person that has ever bought anything from that site. Oh, really? That's interesting. Do see a chart. Okay. I think I'm far enough behind that I don't know what that chart's in reference to. What does that copper ETF trade under? Are we talking about the CPCC? Let me pull that up here again. So CPCC right here. So Global X Copper Producer Equity Covered Call ETF. So CPCC. All right, that's not how Shopify works, Brian. They make software that integrates into websites for online retailers. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, Shopify. I thought we were still talking about Costco. Okay. Yeah, so Shopify, you probably have used them without knowing it. I mean, many people have. They work on the back end. So if you sign up with Shopify to use their store, it doesn't say, it's not like your store is going to say Shopify. So if you had, let's say you were selling fidget spinners on the internet, they would go to your store and it would just say fidget spinners. They would have no clue that it went through Shopify. Because, that's how it works. You don't see it. So you probably have been through it without knowing it. All right. Kelly says, Brian, I have the Shop app on my phone. It tracks all my purchases, delivery, ETA, and handles a payment. 100% owned by Shopify. Okay, there we go. Cool. So there you go. There you go, Brian. Now you know Kelly. So Brian, meet Kelly. Kelly, meet Brian. There we go. Now you know someone. Bismarcky, if I go to Costco and need 1.5 hing, I purposely don't take a cart. Yeah, and then... Come on, Bismarcky, tell me the truth. This is what happens to me when I'm like, I'm just going to pick up a few things that don't need a cart. Next thing you know, an employee in the store will approach me as I'm precariously balancing stuff, and they'll be like, here's a cart. It happens. All right. Brian says, I'm clueless on Shopify. I looked at the site once, then left. It didn't interest me. But right, if you're not selling anything, it probably shouldn't interest you at all because, you kind of need to, you need to have a need for it, of course. Paul, the main fridge in the kitchen, then a small deep freeze in the garage, the Costco 14 cubic foot fridge, and then a mini fridge for from our daughter. Okay, cool. Brian says, for copper, I bought COPP, has been doing well, but no divvies. So yeah, so COPP. And here, let me pull this one up here for you. So this here is another Global X one here. And this is the Global X Copper Producers Index ETF. In fact, CPCC, I think this is what they're holding. I think, and then they're putting the covered calls on it. But yeah, this one here, still doing, look at this, fantastic, 31 to 58. So this is the one, like if you're a growth investor, income is not important. You want the biggest total return bang for your buck. Well, this is the one to go with, COPP, because you're going to get all of your upside. So obviously, even though CPCC, even though it's going to do fantastic, it's going to make you a lot of money and a lot of income, long term, this one should beat it on the total return. Now, if you do reinvest your dividends with CPCC, you'll get close, but you're not going to get all the way back. This one will give you more money in the long run, total return-wise. All right. Pierre says, let's see, I currently hold XEQT, VFV, XEG, PLTR, UNH, MDA. I plan to sell PLTR, so Palantir, and United Health. Also decrease my position on VFV for even sell all of it. My aim is to add XMA and XETM. What do you think? Love XMA. I love XMA. XETM. I don't know that one. Let me just take a look here. But I have a feeling it's more materials. Oh, this is interesting. I've not looked at this one before, so nice, Pierre, nice. Energy Transition Materials Index. Let me take a look here and see something. All right. Okay, it's been around for a while. Okay, I have not heard of XCTM, but there's a lot out here. But look at this. I mean, they've had a fantastic year as well. So they've gone from 42 to 83, so almost doubled. That's fantastic. Yeah, I love this. I do love this one. The only thing I would say, Pierre, is that if you put all of your eggs into materials, even though we all think, everybody and their dog thinks you're going to do really well, if something happens that materials do crash, I don't think it's going to, but if they did, that's having all of your eggs in one basket. So I would always just be a little bit cautious about that. And sort of, I always ask this question, if I'm investing in this sector and this sector absolutely crashes because of maybe a black swan event, am I going to be okay? So if the answer is no, then you're probably putting too much into it. So that's the only thing I would say to that. All right, Paul says basically the extra fridge parts have nothing in them, but the extra freezer parts have stuff in them. Oh, nice. So far, the ones with 33% leverage like Biggie are doing worse, but the underlying has had problems in the last 2 months. They have, so it's hard to judge Biggie right now. I'll give Biggie a chance. I'll see what they do once the markets are looking better. But yeah, they do have that 33% leverage on them. So. And I have not gotten into Biggie. I'm happy with HHIS, to be honest. Yeah. Siso says, what is the SPMO ETF equivalent in Canada? That's a good question. All right. Let's first of all, let's go to SPMO. So this is your Invesco S&P 500 Momentum ETF. Okay. Oh, interesting. See, I don't know a lot. Apparently, they invest in snow, and here's a picture of their product. It's a close-up. What the heck? Oh, let's try that one more time. SPMO. All right, here we go. This time it worked. All right. All right. So yeah, they're doing okay. 120. So 100 to 120 in the last year. So, are they? Let's see here. So the S&P Momentum Index. That's a good question. I'm really not sure on this one. But you would quite literally. I wonder how this is doing in comparison to the VFV. I almost kind of think most S&P 500s are probably doing just as well at this point in time, but. I don't know of one, but if I find one, I'll have to look a little bit deeper. All right. Tom says, any new swing trades coming up, or are you standing pat? No, I won't be standing pat. I'm gonna be depending on Tuesday. So if we get a Liberation Day 2, so if the market crashes on Tuesday, and some investors think it really is going to. I'm looking at it with a grain of salt. I'm going to see if it does. If it does, I will probably be deploying swing trades on Tuesday because, well, why wouldn't I? The recovery out of another day like that, you can make some good money for sure. So I'll be looking to see what happens on Tuesday. Monday, I don't know if I'll make any. I may not make any swing trades on Monday. I might not. It really depends on because the U.S. market is closed, so. That kind of eliminates most of my favorite targets, but I might take a look and see what a few of my Canadian targets are doing. So, and we'll see. Well, it depends on what's happening. So, for example, I'll give you an example. I might take a look and see, okay, well, what's EXE doing right now? All right, I probably won't get into them because they've just recently broke out of this channel here. Let's just, I'm going to put this down a bit. So they recently just broke out of this channel, and I don't yet see a channel. I mean, there might be a channel just starting here. There might be, but we're going to need more time before EXE can be a target. IVN is another one in Canada that I do like to. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. I'm just going to drop this in here. All right, so I have, right here and maybe right here, and we'll bring it like this. We could have a potential channel starting here. All right, so we might have a, what happened to this one? Why did it go up? Oh, I grabbed the I grabbed the wrong one. But we have a potential. So look, we've already got 1 touch, 2 touches, 3. You could call it a 4th and a 5th. So this is looking like a potential channel. So I might grab some of this tomorrow, because if I can get in, even if I got it, let's just say I could get it at 1585. Even if I got it in here, and if I could then sell it at about 1655, or maybe 1660, that's still not too bad. That would, that's a little bit of profit. So maybe that's what I might do, because that does look like it is. It looks like they've entered a channel. I like channels. All right, now, although, this is another, just a second, Tom, before I leave you. If we're in this channel and we do get an event on Tuesday, a Liberation Day Part 2 type crash, that could be good for gold. That could actually cause a breakout to the upside. So, yeah, I'm going to watch this one. I'm going to watch this one tomorrow. I might have to make an entry point. We'll see. As a channel member, if I do make an entry point, you'll get an email tomorrow. You get one email on any day that I update that, because basically the community tab, there's one for channel members, and they get to see what my my swing trades are. All right, Paul says the leverage gets you a little more yield for the income. All right, fair enough. Try comparing EQCL to S&P. Yeah. Parallel Wealth had a good segment about good debt, selling out of non-registered for a large purchase, then borrowing to buy back those stocks and writing off the interest payments. Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Parallel Wealth. I mean, they've got some really good, especially retirement stuff. Steve says, are you not reviewing someone's portfolio today, Candace? Yeah, nobody asked. I have that one person who I've been holding the spot for, but Steve, if I remember correctly, I think you wanted me to review one as well. Let's do it this way, Steve. We're getting really close to the end of today's, so if you want, let me lock you in for next week. So if I think you sent me something over on Blossom. So let's lock you in for next week. I'm not going to wait for the other individual anymore. If they want me to do it, I'll send them a message and say, just, give me a heads up. But if you want, Steve, I can lock you in for next Sunday, and we'll look at yours. Why videos? A clue to know when we're in a Shopify store is the Shakepay option, which is very convenient, by the way. Okay, there we go. Let's see. Venture by Nature says, if you have 25 years to invest, would you focus more on growth or dividends? I would focus on total return. That would be what I would focus on. So total return is the growth plus the dividends. So for a lot of companies, so if I'm going individual stocks, there are a lot of big growth stocks that have very little dividends, but their total return is going to be high. But there's also, if you're going ETFs, then yeah, there's a lot of good ETFs that are going to have a good combination of growth as well as dividends. And I'm going to go by that combination. I'm going to look at what are the biggest numbers that I can get, the biggest bang for my buck, while also keeping an eye on diversification, making sure that I'm not putting all my eggs in one basket. So for example, if maybe I love tech and I just throw in 5 tech ETFs, well, that's probably a little too much in tech. So I would go that route. All right. Xenio, momentum has been dead. Value seems to be where it's at. All right. Mark says, for a bit of fun, check out my poll that I posted on Blossom today. How much of each company do you really own? Sure. All right. Let's do it. I have to find Blossom. I got it up here somewhere. All right. Up here. All right. Now I gotta find Mark. Let's just type in Mark, and we'll search on Mark, and I should get Mark, I think. All right. View more. Let's, if it loads in so I can see. Let's see here. Market scan, CISO, Mark Peterson. Is that's you? There we go. No, it's not. I just was looking down and I was like, wait a minute. I saw the white beard. I saw the white beard on Mark Peterson. All right, no, Mark, give me your username. Otherwise, you're not coming up. Oh no. Well, I could. If I go in here, I might be able to find you. If you say you posted it. Oh, look at this. There you are. Right away. All right. Let's do this. Let's do Mark's poll on the air, guys. All right. So poll, how much of each company do you really own? Do you know how much of each company you actually own across all your ETFs and sub-ETFs? Do you ever wonder if you have overlapping stocks when building your portfolio, considering adding a new ETF or stock? So how much Royal Bank, Apple, Google? Yeah, exactly. So this is a big thing with ETFs. So sometimes you do have overlap, and you might not realize that all of your ETFs, if they all have the number one, if their number one company happens to be NVIDIA, they're all holding NVIDIA, well, then you probably have quite a bit of NVIDIA. All right, so please share in the tools which comments you use. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Yes, I track my real company exposure across all ETFs and sub-ETFs. Somewhat, I know the basics, but not the full picture. Don't care. I assume I'm diversified because I own ETFs in different sectors or indexes. That's probably where most people fit, I think. Or I wish I knew. I'd love to know, but it's too hard to figure out. There we go. I would love to say this. That yes, I track all my real company exposure. I have a general idea in my head, but I haven't got it broken out. Like, I don't have a spreadsheet with all of it on here. So I can't, in all honesty, I can't click on this one. I'm going to go with this one. I'll go with the somewhat. Oh, I picked the right answer. The most people picked this one. So yeah, I know. I got a general idea of how much exposure I'm getting, but yeah, I mean, obviously if I broke it down further, but yeah, there we go. Nice. There we go. I love it. And oh, I got to give a like. I got to give Mark a like at the same time. There we go. So yeah, Blossom. I love it over here. Guys, why don't you guys go and do Mark's poll? Here, first of all, if you don't have Blossom, let me drop the link here. That link there is my sign up link. So if you sign up to Blossom, it supports the channel. Also, when you get there, be sure to follow me so I can see what you're posting. And check out Mark. So, and quite literally, I'll give you Mark's login over there. So if you're already over there, here we go. It's just this at Mark Pazionka. I'm terrible with names. I'm terrible. Sorry, Mark. Just go over, check it out. Throw him a follow, and do the quiz. I'm kind of curious. Mark, let me know if you got a bunch of people doing the quiz, because we can bring it up and see if that changed it at all. Lisa says, I love parallel wealth. Yeah, it's like, I do the occasional bit of retirement content, although mostly this channel is about the actual investments. But yeah, and I actually recently, somebody in the community reached out and asked me about my opinion on parallel wealth. I think it was parallel wealth. and I was just like, yeah, they're fantastic. They, I think his name is Adam over there, but I do like Parallel Wealth. Let's see. Scott says we still have to hear back from the U.S. Supreme Court on the legality of tariffs. That is true. And I think these new tariffs, these Greenland ones, I think they're going to be found. I don't think they're legal at all. You have to vote. Click on one to see the results. Of course. Well, we did. We did. Tom says, sorry, Candace, but what is the crash rumor about? Oh, it's all of this Greenland stuff that's been going on this weekend and Trump throwing out new tariffs and everything. There's some people that think we'll get a crash on Tuesday. I'm taking it with a grain of salt. I'm taking it with a grain of salt. Maybe we'll see something. Maybe we won't. But I look at it this way. Tuesday's when the market opens anyway, at least in the U.S. We have a market tomorrow here in Canada, but they have Martin Luther Jr. King Day on tomorrow. So the market's closed in the U.S. All right. There we go. Look at this. Lisa has just followed you, Mark. So you got at least one new follower. I love it. Yeah, Adam. I actually didn't know his last name, but Born. All right, there we go. So I guess when he was born, he was born again. No, I don't know. That's probably a bad joke. King of Day said I did the poll, Mark, along with a like as well. Nice. You see, guys? If you want some extra exposure on Blossom, just bring it up in the chat. Mark just proved it works. So why not? And keep in mind, Mark, I mean, people who watch this in the replay, they might head over there as well. So you might get a few people more tonight. But yeah, Mark's awesome. I like Mark. So guys, definitely show him some love for sure. All right, guys, we're at 2 hours. We can go a bit longer if you guys got stuff to say, but I'll give you the warning for the last minute questions. Let's get them on in. I'm going to have some coffee here. If you guys keep talking, I'll stick around for a bit. I'm okay with that. Oh, God, so good. Now, for those of you who missed it earlier, by the way, I'm going to pull this up again because let me just see here. We were talking about, somebody asked me a question about NFTs. And they wanted to know, what happened to NFTs. And I basically said, people wised up. Who's going to pay for a Bored Ape? And then we decided we would make our own Bored Ape on the channel. We made it here earlier tonight, and here it is. This is our Bored Ape. Currently, Samantha bought it for a $2 super chat, so it's hers, unless one of you outbid her. But like I said, you can all have it for free. If you really want this Bored Ape, you know what? I'll post it on the Discord so you can have a direct download. How does that sound? Or just take a screenshot if you want it. I mean, it's just a Bored Ape petting a goat. But yeah, we just did that for fun. I thought it was cute. I think this is a really neat picture. So, all right. Yeah, I'll close out the Bored Ape, the Bored Ape, the Bored Ape and his goat. What can I say? Yeah, Bismarck is saying holiday in the States tomorrow, so people will be out shopping. Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. Maybe Larry. I don't know if Larry's still here, but I've never been in the United States during Martin Luther King Day, or Martin Luther Jr. King Day. I'm trying to think. The only holidays I've ever been in the United States for were 4th of July and Christmas. Well, Christmas/New Year's. So both of those. The 4th of July, though, I actually had probably the best fireworks display I've ever seen in my entire life. So went to a place, I can't even remember the name of the lake. It was a lake not that far from Gainesville, Florida. And so on one end of the lake, they were launching all the fireworks up into the sky. On the back end of the lake, there was a lightning storm coming in. And it was just like, which one do I look at? They're both pretty impressive. So that was the best 4th of July. Well, it's the only 4th of July I had, but if I had many more, it would probably still be the best one. And Kira says, just followed Mark too. There we go, Mark. Mark, you're growing in popularity, my friend. My beautiful mountain finance family. I love it. Oh, that's awesome. Scott says, I was messing around with my investment spreadsheet and figured out how to pull in the dividend amount. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, you gotta love math. You can do a lot with math for sure. Sounds good. Looking forward to your thoughts. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait. Pierre says, thanks, Candace. My aim is XEQT 70%, VFV 10, 5% for XEG, 15% free to play with individual stocks. Okay. Yeah, well, at least, yeah, XEQT, that is your all equity. That's exposure pretty much to everything. Oh, let's actually, we'll go big screen for a bit. Sorry, Mark, we're leaving your profile. Um, yeah. Yeah, XAQT. I mean, it's got a little bit of everything in it. I like it. I like it for sure. It's a good one. It's a good one. Yeah, and VFE is your extra Canadian exposure. XEG's getting you that oil, that capped your iShares TSX capped energy. Sorry. I was gonna say oil, but energy. So it's more than just oil. Yeah, and then you got a little bit of you got some money to play with. I like it. I like it for sure. All right. Okay, guys. I guess we're at the end right now, so I will point out that we got a market close tomorrow. So we're going to do a market close tomorrow. The Financial Express is still in the, it's still moving. It's still moving. So tomorrow we'll have an opportunity to add on to a Tuesday. And we also have a brand new secret goat. And the one clue we gave for the secret goat is that it's going to take some super effort to get it to happen. So we got a super goat. We don't have a super goat. We have a secret goat. Anyway, I'll give another clue soon. I'll give another clue soon, maybe Wednesday. All right. Now, before I go, we got a couple more comments. Let's just quickly zip through these. Mark says, Scott, how did you pull in dividends? I use Refinitiv in Excel to pull in ticker metadata, but it doesn't have dividends. Interesting. What do you think of VBank? Good question. I don't recognize VBank off the top of my head, so let's take a quick look here. I probably should. Is this a? Let's see. Oh, I should go VBNK. Is this a Vanguard one? No, it's VersaBank. Oh, VersaBank. Yeah, I've heard of VersaBank. Yeah, I don't know what I think about them, to be honest. Now, they actually look to be doing better than EQ. EQ struggled a bit lately, but I'm just gonna pull up the 3-year. Okay. So yeah, they've had the same kind of. Yeah, it's interesting. I think I still like. I think I like EQ better, obviously, because I bank with EQ for sure. But yeah, VersaBank is one of these ones that's kind of interesting. So. You got a 2.5 cent dividend quarterly, so that works out to, well, not very much, 0.461% on the dividend side. So yeah, it'd be interesting. I'd have to look a bit more into it. I can't really give you a definitive answer on VBank, only because I kind of ignored them for a while. Scott says, no, not really math, more about using the IMPO HTML function. There we go. Scott, I'm using Google Sheets and reading in a table and parsing it. Okay, yeah, Google Sheets for sure. Google Sheets sometimes can do more than Excel, but I still love Excel. The next goat should be a super goat. Well, we already have the next goat, so the next goat is not a super goat, but maybe the one after that, maybe goat number 4. We'll have to see. No, the next goat. You guys will like the next goat once you see it. I like it. It's a good goat. But we'll have to see how long it takes people to figure out how to release the next goat. It could be a while. The last 2 goats have been too easy. They've been too easy. You guys are way too smart. So this one's a little more complicated, but I'll continue to give hints, and we'll see how long it takes you. If you guys get it by Wednesday, I'll be like, oh my gosh. It's like it's like the 4th goat. I'll have to do like a scavenger hunt where you have to, I don't know, you'll have to travel across the country and collect bottle caps or something. I really don't know what I'll do for the 4th goat, but yeah, it'll be fun. I think this one will be fun. All right, guys. Whew, boy. This has been another fantastic stream. You guys are a great audience. As I said, we'll be back tomorrow with a market close. We'll open it up for Tuesday. Hopefully we come back on Tuesday as well, and then Wednesday. We'll see how things go. Oh, I never mentioned Tuesday's video, and channel members, you'll be able to watch this tomorrow. I asked myself a question. Could I make an income portfolio using stocks? That was a question I asked. We'll find out in the next video. That'll be, like I said, channel members can see it tomorrow. Everybody else will see that on Tuesday. All right, guys. I have one last thing to say before I go, and that is, well, bye-bye.